ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my podcast. Can I just say it feels absolutely great to be back recording. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Vulnerability is not my strong suit, but we're just gonna go there. I've recently been diagnosed with bipolar type 2. Bipolar type 2 is where you go into periods of being focused and happy, and then you're just like depressed for absolutely no reason. I hate it. I can't stand it. But now that I understand what's going on, now I can properly get the help. Because here's the thing. I have pretty much just lived my whole life under the impression that I'm strong enough to handle whatever I've got going on, whether it's out in my life or if it's in my head. I'm strong enough to handle it on my own. But I think I've come to a point where I have to realize that I can't control everything. And when it comes to mental health, it's much better to just take the small steps, any step, to make it so that you're living your life happy rather than wasting it being depressed in bed, not taking care of yourself. I'm so sick of living like that. So while I'm waiting to get on my medication for my bipolar, I'm just kind of at home making it work. When I go in my highs, then I record. When I'm in my lows, then I just kind of keep to myself, talk to my Patreons. So that's kind of where I'm at. With today's podcast, we're going to be talking about dating. It's going to be all about dating. I'm going to be reviewing your guys' Tinder profiles. That's right. I have a skit, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but I do something. It's called Roma's Romance Review, and it's where you guys email me at roma@romaarmy.com. You guys email me your dating profiles. Let me know what's going wrong, why things really aren't working. I review them and I let you guys know what's up. So I have 3 profiles to review today. I also have an interesting woman who is on the internet as a sociopath, she claims, and she's teaching women how to, really abuse men. She calls it dating like a sociopath. I call it dating like an absolutely terrible, vile person that should just not be allowed in the dating world. So this episode is all about dating. And with that being said, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off by talking about this Kanika Batra character. I don't know if she's Russian. I don't know what she is. She says she's a past Miss Universe and Miss World finalist. That's really interesting to me considering that in all of her videos, she is it's just Snapchat filter galore. There's not one video where she doesn't have a really heavily just really bad, intense Snapchat filter on. She seems to gloat about the fact that I guess a couple people have referred to her as the female Andrew Tate. Personally, I'm not going to give her that title. I'm not going to float her boat and stroke her ego that way. She wishes. Whether you love or hate Andrew Tate, I think we can all admit that he's pretty smart when it comes to business, and just to a certain extent, he's got some intelligence that this woman clearly does not have. So let's listen to her first clip. Let's listen to some of this advice that she's giving women. So this one's titled, Diagnose Sociopath, Get Them to Propose. Get the ring, then drop him. This should be good.
As from a sociopath. After you pick your target, the first thing you want to do is appear as a high-value woman. This means that you're dressed perfectly. Groom yourself to the best of your ability. You need to strike the perfect balance between soft and feminine, yet still assertive and a prize to be chased.
So I'm really disgusted by the fact that she says pick your target as if men aren't human beings. They're just these walking objects. I'm disgusted by how many women are feeding into this. And I also find it really funny how she says appear like a high value woman because she absolutely knows that she's not. I mean, look at those nostrils. I don't know who her doctor is, okay, but they did not leave a lot of space there. That's really botched. The shitty thing about the dating world for men is that it's just such a massive hit or miss, and 9 times out of 10 it's a miss, because a lot of these women just desperately need to be humbled, and they make it really confusing for men, She says things like, groom yourself really well. Well, what does that mean for the women who are high value? Just imagine how confusing it would be for any man who stumbles across this video. Now he's gonna think twice whenever he goes on a date. If he does get a high value woman who is really well groomed, he's going to think twice and he's going to say, damn, am I being manipulated? But let's go to video number 2. Let's see what else.
Be condescending. Ask if it's a transitory phase until he does something interesting with his life. Socio and psychopathic women do not put men on pedestals. If he's a talented athlete, say you're more into the intellectual types. Validate him using extreme triangulation. Make him feel inadequate by comparing him to your ex, even if your ex was pretty shit. Say he took you on trips around the world, or that he could actually hold a decent conversation. The last and most savage is taking a huge dig at his masculinity. Tell him he's a great cuddly bear, and then go on to say that you hate masculine men, and that you're glad he's not one of them. You love that he has such an emotional nature.
This is really sad. Gentlemen, this one is like just really obvious, at least for me. If you go into any type of relationship with a woman and this is how she's speaking to you, she's giving you these side offhand comments. And women are like perfect at doing this. It's called passive aggression. And they will say these little offside comments that make you second guess yourself. Women are just experts at being really passive and condescending because that's how we're taught to be, to just be bitchy and not straightforward, I guess. I mean, personally, I just can't get over this girl's nostrils. They are so small. Video number 3.
Males are using women's empathy against them, especially those alpha gurus. They want women to be insecure, so they settle for them, instead of rising themselves to your level. Do not choose a partner purely based on emotion. And don't go by words. Watch his actions. If he's had a string of one-night stands, chances are you're the next one. No matter how much he's changed. Why would you want to humanize someone who is so actively trying to dehumanize you? This is going to be hard to you, but cut off your empathy for him. Do not offer kindness and compassion until he deserves it. Don't prioritize plans with him over your friends. You need to be ride or die with your inner circle. Feel free to dangle the idea of sex, but don't have it. You need to control the pace. Do not feel unnecessary guilt. Just because he's bought you something doesn't mean you owe him.
Yeah, see, like some of that stuff I can actually agree with. It's just the fact that she's coming at it with such a like manipulative, women need to be more sociopathic when dating. Yeah, that's not really, a lot of that stuff isn't really called sociopathic, sweetheart. That's called having respect for yourself. So yeah, I don't agree with the women control the pace. That's kind of just like rape culture in my opinion. Women control when the sex happens. No. A man does too. It's called consent. That thing that they have a God-given right to. But a lot of this other stuff, don't feel obligated if he buys you something. That's pretty normal. Don't be kind to him until he deserves it. I mean, I don't even understand. Does she really think that men are so dumb that they will just take I guess hot woman. I don't know. She can't take the Snapchat filters with her in real life, but I guess she was like the Miss Universe or something, a runner up or whatever. But that's like stage lights and how much they have to pound on the makeup in order for you to see. I don't know if any of you who have done any sort of like performance arts will know that if you're on stage, they paint your face so that the back row can see it. So the amount of contour and just pounds of makeup that she would have had just to be able to be broadcasted across the world properly is just, it's hilarious. I mean, this girl is not naturally pretty. And the fact that she thinks that she could successfully manipulate men this way is even more humorous to me. This girl's obviously single. This is what I say to men and women. Stop taking dumb dating advice from people on the internet who are not in relationships. She wants to talk about being a string of one-night stands. Let's be honest. This girl has probably had more hot dogs in her than a hot dog factory. You know what I'm saying? The funny thing is it's not just this girl's attitude that makes her low value. It's everything from the fake boobs to the fake lips to the Snapchat filters to the weird wig. I don't even know if that's a wig or her real hair. It's just everything about her is so fake and no man is going to ever take her seriously. And she knows that. I think this is why she needs to get validation from women on the internet who have just used the negative relationships that they've had with men as some weird twisted way to like get back at them. You know what I mean? Or there's women who have never really been treated like shit by men. but they hear stories from other women and they think to themselves, oh my goodness, yes, I need to be that victim. And then they make videos like this. You need to treat men like shit because men are awful. Let's be honest. She has probably dated men that have either, one, kissed her ass and she got bored with it, or number two, she dated pieces of shit, shallow men just like her. There are a lot of women out there who just remind me of her. Amber Rose is one of them. You know, she's just a really dirty, dingy, disgusting past type person who, number one, came up as stripping. Number two, nobody knows her unless for the fact that she slept with Kanye West. That's how everybody got to know her. Like, just the list goes on. She's just dirty and grungy and talks about how her favorite thing is that her OnlyFans brings her to her roots. Okay, ho-ho, that's fine. Do your thing. But then don't be sitting up on the internet talking about, oh, the dating pool is just, it's so trash right now and men are gross. No, you are gross. This girl is gross. And she knows that. She feels so bad about herself that she needs to spend her time convincing other women to make men feel bad about themselves. It's really all it is. Like, men, if you come across women like this, you need to just run. If she's being like over nice, you know, if she's smiling a whole bunch, you just know that that's a red flag, okay? If she compliments you more than 3 times in the first date, run. Like, really, I think what you guys need to do is just watch this girl's channel and just take tips of everything to avoid. Don't worry, I'll be linking it. You guys will be able to check it out. The thing about the dating world for men right now is that, like I said, it's just a really scary place. It's really unpredictable. It's just a cesspool. And women want to talk about how there's no good men and this and that. Well, the reality of it is that there's a lot of good men. It's just the good men are kind of just choosing not to date right now. And the reason for that is because all the shitty women are out there on a prowl, turning the dating scene into some sort of like game. Who can get the most free dinners? Who can get XYZ? Who can find the richest guy? Like, it's just a game. No, it's not fun anymore. And so good guys have really just gone their own way and said, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe I'll find my future wife at a grocery store. Maybe I won't. And if I don't, that's perfectly okay with me. And the other guys that are left are either just straight up pieces of shit or smart men that have learned to play these types of women at their own game. Or there's men who are seriously still trying. And I commend you guys for continuing to try, because personally, I wouldn't want to go anywhere near it. We've got one last video from Miss Snapchat Filter, Tiny Nostrils. She looks like Roger the Alien.
Males are a disgrace. You're still playing video games. You should be hunting wild boar. I'm barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. What am I meant to cook? Vegetables? Your dad bod's hanging out? Your grandfather is so embarrassed of you. I even made my feet smaller to be closer to the oven. You should be hunting some deer. The only thing you can hunt is new games on Xbox. Do you think your grandfather's concerned with the new World of Warcraft coming out? No, he'd be working all day to provide for us and our child. He'd be groomed. He'd be wearing a suit to work every day. You've been cycling the same 3 t-shirts for the last 6 months. We know they're the same t-shirts. They have the same stains. Your beard is starting to look like the Daintree rainforest. Your grandfather would have seen his barber 2 weeks ago.
She really just thinks she's so funny. I mean, I just don't know who she thinks she is, talking about men's looks. I think it's really funny how so many women are so obsessed with like picking apart just really how simple men are. And I'm not saying that to insult you guys. Like, it really does not take much to make you guys happy. And I fucking love that about you guys. I appreciate that. I'm not calling you guys simpletons by any fucking means. I'm just saying, like, you can give a man 3 t-shirts, he can do his laundry, he can live with that. He can live with the couch, a fucking TV, and that's it, all in his apartment, and he's fine. And women will just be so pissed at that because they're high maintenance, and other women have convinced them that that's like what an empowerment, that's what women should be. This woman's just really disgraceful. I know that she thinks that she's really funny, and the majority of that was supposed to be a joke, but in reality, what she's actually doing is she's not barefoot and pregnant. She's not married. She's sitting in daddy's condo right now while she puts on her pounds of makeup and pretends like she's important. That's really all that she's doing. Gentlemen, I am so sorry that there are women like this out in the world, like really just like kind of prowling, praying. I'd like to give you some tips, okay? I want to give you guys some tips in this crazy world, because I don't want to see men, watch my videos or listen to my podcast and say to themselves, you know what, this is just insane. This isn't for me. These women are crazy. I don't want to date anymore. I don't want to like turn you guys away from that. As much as I can respect MGTOW, men going their own way, I don't agree with it for the simple fact that everybody deserves love, and I don't want to see these like crazy wackadoodle femcells ruin that for you guys. Like, you deserve happiness. You deserve a good woman who respects you and is willing to provide for you in any which way that she can, because she knows that you're doing that for her. And I promise you that there's women like that out there. It's just, unfortunately, right now it's coming so far like in between. Those women, it's just there's way more shitty ones than there are good ones, and I'm really sorry for that. But I have proof of it. I've done a lot of polls when it comes to dating on my YouTube. I get like thousands and thousands of responses. And it always opens my eyes as to what men go through, especially in the dating world, like this one. Have you ever had a woman shut you down when you show emotions, telling you to man up, or just not wanting to hear it? 14,000 votes, 81% said yes, absolutely. A woman had shut him down when he was trying to show emotions. Not only is this not a safe place for men to just try to find a life partner, but it's not even a safe place for them to be human beings. It's tough for them to even open up to anybody. And I did a poll as well about men, if they experience the same thing with their male friends. And an overwhelming amount of them had. Males had told them to just man up or get over it. So it's not just women that are saying this to men. Men are saying it to each other. But there's another poll that I have. It says, have you ever been physically abused by an intimate female partner? 16,000 votes. 44% said yes, they had, 42% said no, and 14% said, I'm not sure if it was abuse. The 14%, I'm not sure if it was abuse, that one struck me harder than the 44% that had experienced abuse. Not that the 44 who had, experienced abuse, not that that's not serious, not that that doesn't absolutely shatter my fucking soul. It does, but the fact that there are so many, 14%, hundreds. There are hundreds of men who most likely experienced abuse, but they're just not sure if that's what it was, because society doesn't leave room for men to be victims. Society doesn't teach men about red flags. They don't teach men about really what's important in a relationship. Society spends so much time pounding into men's heads that their worth is wrapped around providing for a woman and starting a family. But hello, men, you have no obligation to pay for a woman's stuff. You have no obligation to provide for a woman. Stop dating broke women for multiple reasons. You don't want to be financially responsible for somebody. You don't want to be financially carrying somebody through life. You don't want that almost half chance that you will get divorced. You don't want that to mean that she walks away with half of your money, half of everything that you worked for, your business, and God forbid, walk away with your freaking kids. Like, that's what dating broke women does. If you date women who are in your tax bracket, they 9 times out of 10, number one, they're responsible. Number two, they don't place money at this high, unnecessary standard. And number three, if you guys get divorced, she's not as entitled to as much because she's got her own money. Broke women will date one rich guy and then just suddenly completely forget that they worked for absolutely nothing that they have. I think it's atrocious. At the end of the day, I feel like men marry for happiness and women marry for money. And I did a big poll and I said, men only, in what order do you value these 3 things in your romantic relationships? 75% out of 81,000 votes said that number 1, spending time together. Number 2, emotional connection. And then it was sex. So men value intimacy through bond. They value talking. They value doing things with you. And then they value sex. Whereas women want to walk around and still convince each other that men only want one thing. Yeah, it's called love. It's called to be respected. Maybe chivalry sometimes. Why can't chivalry apply to them? Have you ever seen a man smile when you open a door for him? Have you ever seen a man smile when you compliment him randomly passing by him? And by the way, only 4% put sex as the number one thing, that's what came first for them. Only 4%. 20% said that sex came as second. And again, 75% sex was the last thing that men cared about. So with that being said, it's obvious to me that men are out here in the dating world with good intentions. They want forever partners. It's just damn near fucking impossible to find right now. So with that being said, before I review your guys' Tinder profiles, and, I'm sure a lot of this can apply to many of you who are online, maybe it won't, maybe it will, but if you kind of see your dating profile in this, take these tips, switch it up, email me. Again, my email is roma@romaarmy.com. Email me the results. Let me know if my tips worked, if you found a girlfriend. So far, by the way, I've done 3 episodes of this on YouTube, and all 3 of my Roma's romance reviews, all 3 people have messaged me back letting me know that they found a girlfriend. So I have a 3 out of 3, 100% success rate. I'm just going to brag about that for a second. Anyways, the first piece of advice that I really want to give men in the dating world is really, I guess it's not so much a piece of advice. It's more like a statement. It's advice. Prepare to be disappointed. You will be disappointed time and time again. You will be disappointed by more women before you find your forever woman than the chances of you just like going on one date and, oh my God, here's the woman I'm going to grow old with and, rock on the front porch in our rockers. It's just the chances of that happening nowadays is so slim. And what I see happen is I see men go on a date, get their hopes up, maybe get stood up a couple times, and they get really down on themselves. They put it on themselves and they're like, what's wrong with me? I just have the worst luck ever. You, me, everybody else. The amount of times that I've been stood up, the amount of times that I get ignored, the amount of like fucking weirdos that I come across too, like there seems to be this perception that if you're pretty, it's just like, or you're handsome, that you just have this never-ending pool of women. And sure, I guess, or men if you're a woman, but at the end of the day, it's about the connection. It's about the person. And it is so hard to find that number one good person. And personally, I would rather just filter through all the shit and find the good person than have a bunch of like, people after me. That's just how I feel. So you guys, you just have to prepare to be disappointed. You will find a lot of shit, but don't take that upon yourself and say, oh my God, I should just give up. Is it because I'm a piece of shit? No, you should like write her a thank you note in your head. Don't actually send it to her. She deserves no dick. But you should like, honestly, just thank her in your mind because it's nothing to be sad about. What, you wish it worked out knowing that she's that type of person that ghosted you, that used you, that was rude, that was a gold digger. Like if you find out early that these people just aren't worth your time, please take that as a blessing. Don't get down on yourself. Which brings me to my second piece of advice. Be confident. When you're confident, the world cannot touch you. You can't get bullied. You can't get harassed. You can't be targeted. Nothing, like you're completely untouchable because you know yourself. So A ties in with B here. Be prepared to be disappointed, but be confident enough to be able to snap back. Be confident enough to say, you know what, this probably had nothing to do with me. I'm going to try again because I'm going to go through a whole lot of shit before I find my good one. And my third piece of advice is please know your non non-negotiables. Don't be going into a relationship without having the slightest clue what your absolutely hell no, I'm walking away non-negotiables are, okay? For me, my non-negotiables in dating is if you are a liar. If you are just a big fat fibber, I'm not interested. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, you won't be able to tell if somebody's a liar right away unless they come on the first date and tell you that they're like Pamela Anderson's daughter and they flew to the moon twice. Okay, most people don't show that off right away. But other non-negotiables for me is if you've been dating your ex within the last 3 months, I'm just not interested. I definitely think that men and women who used to date can be friends. Personally, I think it's a red flag if every single person that somebody has dated is just like an asshole. If you're not friends with any of your exes, like are you really the shitty person? Probably. If every single one of your exes was quote unquote the problem, I think we all know who the real problem is. But I think it's obviously really important when you break up with somebody to take some space. People just like break up and, stop hanging out for a month and then they're like, oh, I'm good to date and blah, blah, blah. And then you end up being a rebound. And it's super annoying. Don't waste anyone's time doing it. If you come across somebody and you ask them, oh, when's the last time you dated your ex or you're with your ex or blah, blah, blah. If they say anything that is under 3 months, run. And don't just take their word for it. Do some sleuthing on their social media if you can. Another non-negotiable for me is any type of physical like aggression. If you're slamming cups, slamming doors, slamming cupboards, sorry, but first it's the cupboard and then it's my face. And that goes for men and women because what they're doing when they're doing those aggressive things, especially right off the bat, is they're testing your boundaries and what you allow will continue. So if you have somebody that's being aggressive, slamming stuff, slamming car doors, just like acting like a big fucking baby, run, because that's a huge red flag for an abuser. So that's just some of mine. I think some non-negotiables for you guys, for men, should be, even if you don't intend on making her pay 50-50 for the first date. I mean, I don't know any guy that actually does that. Ask her what her thoughts are on splitting 50-50 for the date. If she says, no, that's disgusting, just tell her to go fuck herself, say okay. But if she doesn't have a problem with it, because there are a lot of women who don't have a problem with it, then you're good to go. To me, that would be a non-negotiable, because if you really have a problem paying for half of the date, number 1, you're selfish. Number 2, you're sexist. And number 3, you're broke. This is my favorite part of the podcast where I dive into your dating profiles. I absolutely love this because I feel like I get to know you guys like so personally. I get to give some of my best advice, I feel like. So we're starting off with Michael here. Michael is 32 years old. He has a picture of himself in front of what appears to be a truck. He's wearing kind of a sweater vest. He's got a tattoo on his shoulder. He's got those, I don't know how to describe these sunglasses. Where I'm from, we call them douchebag glasses. I can't remember for the Oakleys, maybe Oakleys. Maybe Oakleys. I don't know. They look like Oakleys. Not calling you a douchebag. I'm so sorry. He's got a lip piercing, some long facial hair on his chin, a nice little hat. Okay. Seems pretty normal. Good looking dude. His profile says, hi, I'm Mike, single dad with 1 kid. 4 tattoos, 6 piercings, spiritualist, smoker, 420 friendly, currently RV life. Okay, so he's standing in front of an RV. Looking to find the place I can call home. Been single. Okay, I have to stop you. I have to stop myself right there. Okay, you guys know that I'm always brutally honest. If you can't take brutal honesty, don't ask for my advice. I'm going to be very honest. When you said currently RV life, looking to find a place I can call home, I chuckled because it sounds like you're putting yourself up for adoption. I would take that part out of there because it kind of makes it sound like you're looking for a woman that you can live with. And that might be true, but don't put that in there. Not looking for anything serious. Okay, yeah, definitely don't put that in there, because now you definitely you look like you're putting yourself up for adoption. Friendship, casual chatting, no hookups, don't use Snap. Everyone says a lot of the same things here in the bios, but I'm not so sure anyone reads them. If you want to know me more, just ask me. I'm an honest, open book. Okay, so Michael lives in Indian Hills, Nevada. I'm a little bit confused about you're looking for chatting, friendship, something casual, but no hookups. Because it also says that you're like looking for dating as well, right? Like this is why you sent it to me, because you're having a hard time finding someone to date. I think I found the problem. Number one, take yourself down for adoption. Number two, if you're looking for a relationship, put that you're looking for a relationship. A lot of people say, casual, because they think that if they put in a relationship that there's just this expectation that the first person they go on a date with, they have to commit to or something. But that's just not true. And there are so many women that are like, looking to actually settle down, like there are so many men and women who are just done dating around. Like they're not dating just to date, they're dating to find their future forever person. So I would just be more open about that. I would take out the single dad with one kid. I always tell people, do not put when you have kids on your dating profiles, because so many people, predominantly pedophiles, and that goes for women and men, they will specifically look for dating profiles where people mention their kids. So usually they have options where you can put if you have a kid or not in like your filters about yourself. I would not put that right in your bio. I wouldn't put that you've been single since 2017 either, because that just kind of makes it, I don't know. A lot of women would be like, is that by choice? Maybe I'll put that. I'd be like, been single since 2017, but now I'm, back into the dating scene because it was by choice or something. You know what I mean? The tattoos, the piercings, keep that in there. That's a good conversation starter. Spiritualist, good conversation starter. I would take the smoker out of there. I would take the 420 friendly out of there. You can put that in the option for your filter as well, because if I'm a gold digger looking through a dating app for some free stuff, I would probably pick you and be like, oh my God, smoke your weed with me. So I think that makes you a bit of a target there. Take out the, like I said, not looking for anything serious. I think that that's probably why you're struggling, is just because of those just minor details. Other than that, I think you're really good. I always try to tell people in your bios, keep it sweet, keep it simple. Try to put 3 things that are conversation starters, 3 things about yourself that are unique. You're not a bad looking guy, Michael. I think that if you just make those little corrections, I think that you will be just fine. The next person is Isaac, 28. He is in a vest and he is holding a fish standing in the middle of what looks like a river. Big fisher, outdoors man. That's awesome. I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a lady boner killer to just see a fish with an open mouth like that, right? Your fingers are right in the mouth. You're just really just squeezing and groping that mouth of the fish. I'm looking at that and all I can think to myself is, what do your fingers smell like? So I would maybe leave that as like my 3rd picture. It's a good picture. It says a lot about you. I wouldn't have that as your main profile because all I'm thinking about is your fingers. His bio says I'm in Quebec, but I'm in Ontario. Just seeing what's out there. I love Star Wars, Marvel, movies, quadding, hunting, etc. Okay, first of all, really good right off the bat. Awesome, no critiques. Looking for whatever I can find. No, don't put that out there. That makes you a massive target for a gold digger, a user, and you also need more confidence than that. Hell no. If you don't know what you're looking for, and you really don't know what you're looking for, maybe you were just being lazy and saying, looking for whatever I can find. If you truly feel like that, please deactivate your dating profile right now, because you have so much work left to do. Do not go into the dating world not knowing what you're looking for. At the very least, you've got some exes probably where you can say, okay, I'm definitely not looking for that. So, you can even use that. If you had a really clingy ex-girlfriend, you can say, I'm looking for a connection with somebody who's okay with being independent. Don't say looking for whatever I can find. It does not sound good. Don't expect much from this, but here it goes. Fingers crossed. Take those 3 lines out. Looking for whatever I can find. Don't expect much from this, but here it goes. Fingers crossed. Because number 1, fingers is spelled wrong. And number 2, it's not confident. You need to be confident. Don't sound desperate. Don't be on your social apps making it sound like women are a gift to you. You can hunt, you can quad, you can do all of this good shit. Okay. So considering what's going on for modern women, what the dating pool is like, you are most likely a gift to women. Stop making it sound like women are a gift to you. Okay. You are the fucking man. Remember that. I've read a lot of what women type in these things. So for all you ladies who don't think love/feeling/loyalty is still a thing, keep looking. I/we still exist. I love that first sentiment. At the end where you said, keep looking, that threw me off because my brain initially went to like, you're not the one. That's not you. I should keep looking, not for you. I/we still exist. I would say I, take the we out of there. Because you're making her seem, again, like, okay, there's me, but there's also other options. No. Demand your space, demand your bio, demand the respect on your dating profile app. Confidence. Take that out. Yours truly, an honest and loyal, loving guy. I like that. Looking for friendship, something casual, long-term relationship. Take out the friendship, take out the something casual, because you are clearly somebody who is looking for something long-term. You are clearly somebody who's really fun. You have a lot of heart to give. You have a lot to give in a relationship. So just put a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more confidence in your bio there. And honestly, I think you'll have better luck. Oh, wow. Okay. So I just scrolled to page 2 of Isaac's profile here, and there is a dead tree. There is a dead deer hanging from a tree. Get it. If I'm a woman who matches your hunting outdoorsy type, it probably wouldn't turn me off. I don't know. I don't know about this one. You guys let me know in the comments. Picture of him posing beside a dead deer hung up on a tree. Keep it. Chick magnet or lady boner killer. I don't know. Because I'm a city girl, so I don't want to be biased and be like, that is nasty, just because it's like it's not for me. I would be like, huh. But like country girls, redneck girls, hunters, I'm sure they'd be all for that. So I don't know how I feel about that one. All right, third picture is you with what looks probably to be your family, probably your dad, your brother, and your sister. You guys are posing for a picture, and your sister is pretending to uppercut your brother in the jaw. I would maybe remove that, because what that says to me is that crazy family. That's what it says to me. And you might have a crazy family, and that's okay. I mean, crazy families are the best. I have a crazy family. But you ain't got to be showing all that right off the bat. You got to keep that card in the box for once you got her committed. The last up on today's roster is Lucas, 18. So Lucas's profile picture is him holding his very adorable chubby cat with some really messy hair, and it's a mirror selfie. Now the issue with this is that, Lucas, you have used your really messy hair to cover the majority of your face and your iPhone to cover the other third of your face that was left showing. The issue with this is that it very clearly tells me, and probably a lot of other women, that you're not very confident. As well as, this is a tip that many men can use, please remember that a lot of women, it's kind of like an unspoken rule, that if your profile picture is you with a pet, we take it as you trying to like distract away. You know what I mean? It's like you saying, I'm not that attractive, but look at my puppy. And I don't know if it's intentional or not. If it is intentional, it's a smart move. If it's not intentional though, we figured it out. So I would really suggest against doing that. I'm also kind of surprised that he's doing that because the features that I can see, such as like the eyes, the nose, the eyebrows, like Lucas, you don't seem to be that bad looking. And I say that very lightly because, I'm 25 and you're 18. So, I'm not, it feels weird. But, you're not like an ugly individual. I wouldn't look down the street, see you and be like, ah! You know what I mean? Second picture is a gym selfie, you flexing your forearms. I get it. Women like veiny forearms. The issue with that is that you are, again, covering the majority of your face, which lets me, a woman, know that you just aren't confident and you should definitely be confident. Because remember, gentlemen, the key to dating is freaking confidence. It doesn't matter if you're a 2, it doesn't matter if you're a 10. There are really good looking guys out there who have no confidence and that just like drives their attraction down. There are guys out there who aren't the best looking men, but they're really confident and they get the prettiest women. So for Lucas, I would suggest, like, here's another picture. You've got your iPhone in front of your face. I can't see your face. You have very nice hair, but you got your biceps. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make women attracted to, like, you're trying to hyperfixate on your muscles, which is awesome. You've got nice muscles, but you're going to find a shallow woman. Like, you got to be able to see your face because at the end of the day, you're online dating and that's all about immediate attraction. If you're not attracted to the person, you're not going to swipe on them. Simple. You're not going to read a bio and be like, oh, maybe. That's just not how online dating works. So remove the iPhone from your face. Finally, a picture where I can actually see your face. Okay, so you're standing in front of like a lake with a blue t-shirt on. It looks like a tourist t-shirt. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. It's the t-shirt. The t-shirt is killing it. Remove this picture. Also, I can finally see your face here. And I feel like the reason why you're covering your face is because you're maybe possibly insecure about your facial hair. You are young, you're trying to grow out your facial hair, but obviously I can see that it's like a little bit patchy, not growing the way that you want it to. I'm not a man, but what I do know is that men's facial hair definitely develops way better like when they're 25. It just develops. So the facial hair that you have in between 18, some guys, I went to high school with guys who had full-blown beards. So some guys have beards right from, teenagers. But the facial hair follicles, whatever, they don't actually fully develop until you're like a full-grown man. So what I see a lot of young men doing is they try to really grow out the hair because they want to make an impression of a beard. And my late best friend, rest in peace, he used to do this before his nice thick facial hair came in. And what I taught him to do, and what made it look a lot better, is if you have hair that's kind of a little bit patchy, not quite coming in, just trim it down. When you trim it down, it's far less noticeable. Not to mention, guys, I know that this is something that a lot of you might be like, ooh, you might want to shriek at, but you can use a little bit of makeup to flawlessly hide the imperfections of your beard, especially if you trim it down short. Like it's really easy. Personally, I think that more men should use the little tips and tricks of makeup to feel better about themselves. You can cover your eyes. Like, look, I'm wearing makeup under here, and you probably wouldn't have looked at me and been like, oh my God, she's covering her dark circles, because I'm not like pounding on makeup. I'm just using one really good brand. It's like the lightest amount. And so, yeah, there's lots of different things that you can do to tailor to your beard. Also, huge tip, get rid of the neck beard. No woman likes it. I don't know one that does. If there's a woman out there that likes a neck beard, please let me know. But most women just don't. So if you're struggling to grow like a full beard because you're young, or maybe you just can't grow one, the last thing you want to do is like, just allow your face to do this, well, the more the better type thing, because the more the better when it's all patchy is not going to replace a beard. It's just going to look funny. So what you want to do is you want to completely shave the neck beard, keep this stuff down. I understand like wanting to keep shaving and, wanting to keep that facial hair, being proud of it. It's a stamp of a man. I totally get it. Just take care of it. Your hair as well. You have really, really nice hair, dude. You have kind of like the longer Prince Charming flowy type hair, not too long, like just to the back of your neck, but like that Prince Charming look. Your hair would look really, really good if you got it trimmed, and if when you got out of the shower, if you blow dried it and you just kind of swooped it back, right? You take your hand over your forehead and just back along your hairline. Just brush your fingers through your hair. Blow dry it like this, your hair will look flawless. I'm telling you, it'll be like your own new makeover. It'll be like a little makeover. You remind me a lot of my dead best friend. That's like the most awkward thing that you can say. But Lucas, you have a lot of potential. I didn't really see anything wrong with your dating profile. You didn't really have much of a bio. But that's okay. We don't always gotta have bios. You have the potential to be like a 10. Right now, I think you're a 6. And there's just some small little things that you could do to like bust yourself up to a 9 and a 10. And that's a fact. But with that being said, that definitely concludes the Roma's Romance Review dating profiles. Again, if you want me to review your dating profile, you're just not sure what's going on, you can email me. My email is roma@romaarmy.com. That concludes episode 13 of my podcast. Guys, this podcast has been getting so much love. Almost 25,000 downloads. I think I'm at like 22,000 downloads. But for only having 13 episodes, like including this one, having that many downloads is absolutely insane. So I really, really appreciate it, especially all the people who have downloaded all of my podcasts. It really helps run those numbers up. Something that you guys may have noticed, a lot of men's only spaces, men's rights spaces are being banned, just wiped off of social media. I have a challenge for you guys. I want you guys to go to Google and I just want you to type in men's rights. Just type it in. Tell me what pops up, because for me, what pops up is opinion pieces from feminists and just really a narrative, a really negative narrative being pushed of what men's rights is. Movember doesn't come up. Jordan Peterson doesn't even come up, even though I know he's strayed away from the men's rights stuff over the last couple of years, but nothing positive comes up. And there's half of society that looks at the men's rights movement as this like toxic incel. And then there's an other half of society that gets it, that understands that men's rights is just like feminism, but for men. It's not toxic. It's for men. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't negate feminism. But for some reason, it's a huge issue. So I want you guys to Google that. Let me know what comes up for you guys. But I don't know what is so threatening. I don't know why, the people at Google who are pushing out, what comes up first when you Google search. I don't know what's so threatening about having men's rights painted in a positive light. When all of my accounts get pulled down, I've had multiples get pulled down. I get banned multiple times. What is the threat of having people subscribe to me? What's the threat in it? I'm not an incel. I don't put women down. I advocate for women as well, but I'm not afraid to call them out on their shit, and I give the same energy that they put out. It's as simple as that. But for some reason, it's so threatening. So when you guys download my podcast, when you guys share my videos, when you like my videos on YouTube, a lot of people think that just the likes don't really matter, but it does. It pushes us out into the algorithm. And it lets people know, hey, people actually like this content. So it's a small way to make a difference. Honestly, the best way you can make a difference is using your own voice. Make a post on social media. Tag me. Let me see it so that I can promote it. Talk about how it's unfair, this censorship that's happening to men's rights spaces and men-only spaces. They don't deserve to be banned. There was a men-only Reddit that was at over 3 million, wiped, banned for absolutely no reason. Do you know how hard it is to get fucking banned off Reddit? So hard, but that happened. But meanwhile, they have this big feminist Reddit page that's like really sexist and hateful. I got banned off of it. Personally, I take it as a compliment. But with that being said, thank you so much for all of the love and support. I really love you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, make sure you give these Beckys absolutely no dick. I'm really excited for the future podcasts. I have some sick guests planned coming up, and I'm about to get my passport. So Roma Army will be on the road. With that being said, take care and give none of these Beckys any of your Willy the One-Eyed Wonder Wiener.